All right, looks like we are live. If we're not live, then let me know. I'm trying to run it all from a one-man band studio somewhere in the Kansas City area. How's it going, everybody? My name is JT, aka JT Nickel on Reddit, at ProDJKC on Twitter. I'm joined on Zoom right now by the everlast man himself, Super Fizz, and we got Nixo hanging out with us as well. This is the Daily Doots Roundup, our second edition of the year, and we're super excited that you could join us. The way this works, if you're on YouTube, you can come to the EVMavericks Discord, jump on stage. If you want to chime in with voice, we got a few people on stage right now, and we're going to go through the top 10 Doots of the week, and do a little bit of reaction and reflection. The goal is to keep this about 40 minutes long. So in classic tradition, we're going to save the best for first, and that is our shit post of the week by our very own Experience Goblin Town. Username Experience Goblin Town. Ironically, or coincidentally, this was their first post on Reddit under this account. And the name kind of gives away the humor in it. He goes, where are y'all going? Experience Goblin Town. Great job, Dude, of the shit post of the week. I don't know if anybody caught the humor in that when they saw that, but that was funny to me.
It was well timed, coming out the gate strong.
Yeah, right. Impeccable timing.
And then we've got our haiku of the week. We've just decided to go ahead and start doing this. The haiku of the week by our very own J.S. Tears. And it reads, another night shift, review and merge pull requests, the open source gift. Now, for those of you who don't know, J.S. Tears has been writing a haiku every day. And he's got the meme. He's going to write a daily haiku until we're at least at 0.178 on the ETH BTC ratio or highest market cap. And that person is also the Ethereum Paris ETHCC organizer. And with that, I think we are ready to rock and roll. Go ahead, A-Word. What's our first doot of the week?
Sure, yeah. Friday, January 6th, we had Bigly Bill Braskley has a personal update for us.
And this one, I was reading through this last night. It kind of hit me in the feels, so to speak. Let me switch screen here so you can read along. The Brasky Strike Back Part 2. It's been over 2 months since my wife lost her job and wanted to share an update. We both had found job opportunities on separate coasts of the U.S., and we're prepared to live apart for a few months so that we could find the income to keep the house and wait for something permanent to open up back home. I had even readied the house and advertised it for rental, hoping to find a tenant while we were gone. At the last minute, we both found jobs in town. Not only did she get hired with full-time employment, but she'll be making 20% more than her previous job. I had been watching our little one as my main trade is in construction, and the real money is made on large industrial projects but requires traveling away from home. I had found a part-time gig that worked well with our schedules, but had to quit as I was going back on the road to work. I got a call right before leaving, and a side hustle that I had tried to get started back in August has now just opened up, and I'll be making more than double my previous income while still playing daddy daycare. The last few months have definitely been a trial and has put a lot of stress on our marriage, but we came out as better spouses and better positioned than before. We had enough savings in case of emergencies, and I was prepared to start selling my sweet, precious ETH if things got worse. We were able to not burn through everything, and our ETH stack is still intact, earning rewards. Glad I can share this with my ETH fam and anyone else going through the fire. Amazed to have a spouse who can get aggressive, and when the bear bites, we bite back. That is freaking amazing.
That makes me think how weak-handed I am. Like, I'm not like waiting until we have to like separate cities to sell ETH. I'm like, you know, I sure would like a new pen in my desk. Maybe I'll sell a few ETH to buy one.
Pens you buying?
It's heartwarming, guys. Like, really, hearing somebody overcome like that and doing whatever it takes. That's really what life is about. Like, just doing whatever it takes to make it work for you. So, man, I love Bigley. I don't know where you came from, Bigley, or if you've always been there and you just changed usernames, but I'm a huge Bigley fan. The dude has what it takes to survive life and prosper in life. I love it.
I have to say, like, hearing that they decided to get jobs in separate cities, like, that's crazy. I mean,
right?
You know,
Like that
I don't think
takes some
Larry and I would
serious
do that.
commitment and dedication to each other to like withstand that. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah.
I'm an even bigger Bigley fan now.
You're a Bigley fan? You're a bigger.
I'm a Bigley Brasky fan for sure, but now that post and hearing all that really like cemented it. I am a Bigley fan. They have what it takes.
And if you guys are using Reddit Enhancement Suite, you can save those to your res file. I recommend getting used to doing those types of things. You know, I'm showing you on the live stream here how easy it is. So I would save that as an Ethfinance gem because that may be something that I make into a video later on in lieu of
I kind of think, you know, for those of us like who have been stacking ETH for a few years, I really like. It gives you that security blanket to know that if things get really tough, like you do have that cushion to fall back on. Like I've never been a fan of the diamond hands philosophy of like Wall Street bets. I've always been like, if ETH can improve your quality of life, then you should use it for that. So it's really great to know like they didn't have to dip in, but they have that extra security blanket if they needed it. So it's really cool.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. Let's move on to number 2.
Word. Number 2 on Saturday, January 7th. Oh, no, I'm sorry. January 6th, Magnus Hansen shares a new paper on crypto network security.
Magnus writes, economic Eric Budish presents a new paper showing skepticism regarding the cost of securing the Bitcoin network. The main criticism boils down to the fact that there is no trust in the system, in the sense that there is no, quote, memory, unquote, to build up trust. A miner is only trusted by spending computing resources right now, but does not get rewarded for building up a good reputation. He argues that although this is a perfectly fine model for security, it gets very expensive. In the concluding remarks, Budish briefly discusses POS and says that it could potentially be used in a better way. And then he goes on. I'm going to let you guys react to that.
What? No takers?
No takers.
I think Superfizz.
I was.
Has been talking for quite a while.
I was for like the
think you're
past
on
5
mute.
minutes. I'm not now. I think so. It makes me think back to Vitalik's chat during the merge call, where he kind of described proof of stake as like a multi-purpose security mechanism that could be upgraded and changed. Like we're not beholden to the old ways of securing the network. Now that we have trust through validators, we can expand and change and develop in any way. So I don't have a lot of time to attack Bitcoin, but looking forward, I just see so much potential for future security mechanisms in Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, I'm sorry, that's the next call in Ethereum. So it's really cool.
Very good. Let's go ahead and move on to number 3. A-word, unless somebody else wants to chime in.
I do briefly.
Go for it.
I mean, you have to remember both proof of work and proof of stake are just Sybil resistance mechanisms. The basic idea underpinning this is that it's hard to do evil at scale without like it becoming revealed. And when people do evil in public, it tends to backfire on them like spectacularly. And so the basic idea of proof of work is you have to go and spend a bunch of electricity in order to prove that you, are a real person. And the idea with proof of stake is just capital. That money can't be faked, right? If we come out with something that's even more efficient while retaining slip resistance, if we get a really good decentralized identity, if Gitcoin passport somehow takes off and you can get votes equal to like your forgery resistance score or something, that could be integrated in the consensus layer. And it could be more democratic or have whatever improved crypto values we want so that we're not just reliant on money as the source of trust and truth and humanness, right? There's a long path forward here. And proof of stake is a 99.95% improvement in the efficiency of the system. But I don't think it's the final end game. I think there are layers that we can stack upon this, even if not on the Ethereum mainnet, on all of the associated data availability services, Oracle networks, and everything else that's going to be layered and integrated going forward.
Thank you very much. That was Logri the Bard from tokenomicsexplained.com. I'll shill his site so he doesn't have to. It's wonderful. A-word, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, number 3 was on Saturday, January 7th. Diego D explains why they don't really see the point in Bitcoin anymore. And this is a first Doots shout out.
Yes, very good. Diego D writes, for the first time in my 6 years of crypto, I am starting to seriously ponder. I do not actually get the point of Bitcoin. It's unprofitable to mine it. It pays no yield if you already have it. It doesn't protect you from inflation. It needs a steady supply of greater fools during its cycle because its security costs scales with the price. See the boom bust curve. Its vocal supporters are cringe. I've always agreed that Bitcoin is pristine collateral, while ETH has a place as a programmable crypto asset, but things have changed. I'm at the point where the flippening is not a meme anymore. It is the guaranteed outcome of the supply-demand dynamics that we are witnessing now. Just needs more time to play out. ETH is now the pristine collateral, in my opinion, and I don't see why in the future ETH can't have flipped Bitcoin multiple times. I was cautiously joking, the flippening, and then the 2x of the flippening is the fappening. I'm sorry.
Wait, the lappening is 2x and the fappening is 3x because you keep going.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Gotcha.
Flippening, fappening, flippening, lappening, fappening. Sorry.
Yes, Diego D, great job. Anybody else? That was good.
It's funny when somebody comes to this realization, like I think we all have probably in the past, like you're like, why Bitcoin at all at this point? So I love when people make these posts because a light bulb has gone off in their head. It's clicked for them, like what we've been saying, I guess, for probably years even. So this is awesome. I love this post. This is great. I love seeing these posts.
Yeah, it's like a chest-pounding Wolf of Wall Street thing when they're sitting at the table, you know?
Coming
exactly.
of age.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Nixo ran away. Her cat must be missing. Good. I think we'll move on. Yeah?
All right. Yeah, on Saturday, also January 7th, Whack Attack shares their latest interview on rocket fuel with Jasper, aka our very own Sikh soldier.
All right, Whack Attack. I recorded a new Launchpad episode with Sikh soldiers. Hopefully I said that right. Jasper is an extremely popular member of the Rocket Pool community. In the episode, we talk about how his early crypto journey had him spending time here in Ethfinance. His path to the Rocket Pool community and how he became Rocket Pool's resident DeFi expert. Expert. It was a misspelling. At the end of the video, we do run through of his paper. We did a run through of his paper, Why Paradigm Was Wrong and How Reeth Will Flip Steeth. you can watch it here, and there's a YouTube link. For those of you who don't know, Launchpad is an interview series within Rocket Fuel, a daily news show summarizing everything happening in the Rocket Pool community.
So these guys, both Whack Whack Attack and Jasper, are two of my best friends lately. They are just extremely humble, loving, caring guys. Like they're not the in-your-face kind of people. They're just like humble kind of guys who want to make the ecosystem better for everyone. So I really do suggest checking out your mic. I really do suggest checking out Rocket Fuel. It's a daily podcast that Whack Whack Attack modeled after Anthony Cesano's Daily Gwei. So if you're not already listening to Daily Gwei, you should. If you're also interested in Rocket Pool, you should check out Rocket Fuel. And there's an interview series by Whack Whack Attack, and I'm on one of them, and Anthony's on one of them. It's a great series. These guys are just really genuine, good people.
Hey, can you link to those things you just mentioned, Fizz, in the sub or something for everybody to check out? That sounds awesome.
Well, I think this Watch It Here link is going to be a link to Rocket Fuel, the channel, and on that channel you'll also find the daily Rocket Fuel episodes.
The podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks.
Of particular fame for Jasper, he was one of the people that helped get the first real of any liquidity for RETH on the blockchain. So he coordinated with one of those billionaires before they exploded, and the guy had a lot of curve. And he got the guy to bootstrap the curve
Tetra.
Tetranode. And he got Tetranode to direct all of his curve issuance to this RETH ETH pool. And the amount of liquidity that drew that's available was easily 10x. Like those governance system did more for DeFi than entire applications have, right?
Excellent.
Just really demonstrates the power of some initiative and independent action and really caring about, what we are doing here and contributing however you can.
How are any of those guys going to be at ETH Denver? You're muted. Superviz muted.
I'm over here muted telling Nix that she's muted. I'm going to stay unmuted. So Jasper will not make it, but Whack will make it to ETH Denver.
Okay. If there's, I don't know, we'll talk offline, but I heard maybe there's going to be a Rocket Pool house somewhere.
Yeah, so what's the exciting thing is a Rocket Pool table that is going to be staffed, and we'll all be there quite a bit. It should be a lot of fun. The most exciting thing that came up yesterday, and it's a total secret, so I can't tell anybody, is they're thinking about setting up based on Joe Clappus's low-powered Rock 5B staking device, exercise bikes, so you can pedal an attestation on the exercise bike and then get a POAP saying that you pedal powered an attestation.
Very cool.
That's pretty neat. I was asking if they were going to be at a house because I'm threatening to barbecue when I'm in Denver somewhere, and I just need a kitchen.
Hey, I think we have a kitchen for you, my friend.
Yeah,
we do.
Nix has
We
given
do have
us.
a kitchen
Yeah,
You got
I
a
think
kitchen?
we have yeah, come to the ETH Staker house.
Oh,
You're
the
in.
ETH Staker
I need
house.
an invite to that barbecue.
The password is ultrasound money. All you have to do is say the password at the door. They'll let you in. Don't share
All
it.
right.
It's a secret.
So
Don't share it. It's a secret.
If you forget the password, we're turning you away at the East Staker house door.
yeah,
Oh no. Well, I also am going to need the address to the East Staker house.
yeah. Well,
I don't even know the address. Hey, you're
You're
definitely
saying it.
welcome. We'll get it.
Well, the side hustle would be I'm going to get in town on Tuesday and go to a wallet conference on Wednesday, but then I'm driving a shitty van into town and I'm going to have that. So I'm going to go to the store Wednesday night, and then all I need is a badass smoker and like people. I'm not
You need
barbecuing
somebody
people,
else
but
to go to the
but somebody
store
needs
for you?
no. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm
East
happy
Staker-
in the
East
kitchen.
Staker is, East Acres are thinking of having an event at some sort of bar on Wednesday the 1st.
That's fine. I'm thinking Thursday would be food day.
I could imagine you cooking like the best barbecue ever. I just imagine like you surrounded by 50 of your best friends, like doing barbecue. That just sounds like the best thing ever.
Yeah, and I think it'd be fun to do. I was already thinking of 30 people or so. I do beans, 3 pork butts, and 2 briskets, and I'm already looking for smokers to rent. Let's move on.
Actually, I was going to take that opportunity to say, JT, let's coordinate because I'll be doing a happy hour as well over at Cerebral Brewing. So maybe we could do a little happy hour right before the barbecue.
I'll be doing happy hour, getting stuff prepped in the kitchen, so we could do both. I don't really care. We'll talk about it offline, but I'm down.
Yeah, right on.
We got to find a smoker. I've already been looking for rentals. Anyway.
All right, on Sunday, January 8th, Austin Street. Enlightens
I like
us.
Austin Street.
Okay.
He'll correct
This is the
us.
fun part. He enlightens us to the conflict of interest for entities running MEV block builder and MEV relays.
Okay,
He's
so
actually on stage.
yeah, he's on stage, and I think it would be better if he goes ahead and leads us down the road of what this is, what the MEV boost relay transaction censorship stuff is, because me reading it is going to gloss over some eyes, I think, and I can't really summarize it without leaving out other good bits. So Austin, if you want to chat about this post, we would love your insight. I got 3 awards, 68 upvotes. Austin's been on our Doots list a total of 13 times, according to my Swatch calculator. So, Austin, do you want to say anything about this? Check 1, 2. We can't hear you if you're talking. I see you're unmuted. He could check his settings. I will read the first part of it, though. MEV Boost Relay Transaction Censorship has gotten a good amount of attention since the merge, and for good reason. Fortunately, word has gotten around, and the trend is improving. So I think it's time to emphasize another problem in the relay space. Relays who also run builders. Relay builders, as opposed to independent relays. I need a better term for this. This is informed by my time working on the, I don't know how to say this word, ASTIS relay. And while I believe our relay can help with this problem, I hope you can trust that my goal here is not marketing. We don't make any money off this relay anyway. So if there's anybody that could give a 50,000-foot view in a short amount of time on what this post contains, I would appreciate your guidance. Otherwise, we'll move on. There's JB.
I don't have a summary or anything because I'm still trying to grasp what he's saying here, but I thought it was such a great post because it's like a threat, the way I view it anyway, to the ecosystem because, you're concentrating too much power into a single entity's hands. So I thought it was awesome. I reposted it on Caches because I thought it was so awesome. But, it's definitely something that everyone needs to look at. This could be a problem, I feel like, in the future.
I can't summarize the post, but I will say, like, Austin and his partner right now, it's Kudeta. Austin and Kudeta have developed this, like, as a pure community service. And, it's difficult to look at something like this and say, what are they getting out of it? And it can be difficult to recognize pure public goods. But I do appreciate their work, and I'm 100% willing to vouch for their investment in public goods and not a desire to get anything from someone. So I appreciate their effort.
Brian, one more time, just in case.
There he is.
Coming through.
There's Austin. He's
That sound
talking.
all right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool.
Hey, glad to have you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm in the corner of a ski lodge on my phone trying to get this to work. But cool, yeah.
Sounds
thanks
rough.
for the shout out. Yeah.
You bet. You bet.
Just wanted to, I don't want to dwell too long, but I'll say quickly. So relays are supposed to be these neutral intermediaries between the builders and proposers. So basically, it's a big conflict of interest if somebody is running both a builder and a relay, because then they have a financial incentive to prioritize their own builder. And that generally means stealing MEV from the other builders, or otherwise, deprioritizing the other builders' blocks in favor of prioritizing your own builders' blocks. It's a massive conflict of interest. And right now there are 2 relays that aren't running their own builders. All the others are running their own builders. The ASTIS relay is running its own builder, but only as a kind of test, just as a setup until we get some third-party builders going. But yeah, we shall be pushing for relays to be as neutral as possible. So that's the gist of it.
I appreciate your transparency push. It's so valuable that people are standing up for transparency and impartiality, and not just saying, it's a necessary evil, let's go with it, because it's something we can push against.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Thank you very much, and appreciate you bringing technical stuff to the daily like this, because there's plenty of people from, Ethereum Reddit, so to speak, that found a lot of value in what's going on Ethfinance, and we love having a good balance of technical and non-technical.
There's such a coldness to the digital landscape, and this is a nice warm feeling to know that people in our community are out here keeping an eye and keeping this stuff mindful.
Very good. Let's rock and roll.
I also just appreciate the bite-sized chunk of it. Like, I don't think most of the readers are going to go to the Ethereum Foundation documentation of like the beacon chain components of relayers and proposers and builders and ... right? They're not going to go actively Google and seek that out. But when you get into a well upvoted and sort of bite-sized chunk of something that takes 5 minutes to read, you might get something that sticks in there. And over time, as a community, we sort of build up a lexicon or working knowledge of the architecture just by like the discussions that fall out of these, in a way that's much more approachable to people that would otherwise never have the initiative or skill or would put in the time otherwise to develop that knowledge.
All right, moving on. Go ahead, A-Word.
Yeah, on Sunday, January 8th, SuperFizz has some predictions on the Shanghai update for us.
You want to take this one away? I'll read a little bit of it here. You've got it's a big post. Why don't you give us a 50,000-foot view on some of this
I'll give
stuff?
you 100,000-foot view. So
55.
it's just my guesses. My guesses about what could happen during withdrawals, and I gave them all like kind of confidence. Some things like I think it's going to happen. Then I said March 28th as a wild guess, and now I think it may be more likely to tend into early April. I think network usage is going to skyrocket immediately. There are so many pent up things that people want to do. That means there are going to be some very valuable MEV blocks in the hours after that. I do think the exit queue is going to fill up pretty quickly. I saw someone saying like 30 to 70% churn. I don't think we're going to have that many exits, but I do think that we're going to the exit queue is going to fill up for a few days, and then I do think like big providers are going to change their key management strategies over the coming months and years, which will keep a constant kind of low level churn in the exit queue. I don't think they'll all dump in at once. I think they're gonna balance that. Everybody's interested in the price. I don't expect a lot of price action because everyone has already like thought through what might happen and they've already acted on that. It's not a surprise event, it's a known event. But what I really want to skip down to is what we can do as a community to prepare for withdrawals. And the first one is educate everyone about the transition to proof of stake. A lot of people still don't even know that's happened or what it means. Talk to people about the relationship between good staking on the network and the price. Good staking, that is staking in a decentralized way, staking from home, staking through services like Rocket Pool, will drive the price of Ethereum up in the long run. And that benefits all of us. Staking in dangerous ways, like centralizing through exchanges, through dangerous LSD, or like centralizing LSDs, that will drive the price down over many years, and it's something we want to avoid. Get commitments from people to restake in healthier ways after withdrawals. So they're saying, well, I've been on Lido for years now, and I'm definitely going to switch to something better later. Encourage them to commit, because if they don't commit when those withdrawals happen, they may forget or they may get complacent and be like, things are working, I don't need to change. And then finally, we as a community have to continue building and encouraging other people to build, because the price is a lagging indicator of what we've built. So instead of staring at the price, do something. All right. That was my 100,000 view.
That was beautiful.
I'm sorry, I needed to go fast.
All right. In the interest of time, we're going to rock and roll. Moving on.
Yeah, Monday, January 9th, Maleficent Plankton reminds us about a recent scam that's been going around.
This is very, very important. I want everybody to listen in on this one. And second of all, this dude is the highest ratioed, or person, I shouldn't say dude. This person is the highest amount of Doots per capita in the sub by far. Like always, major alpha from Maleficent Plankton. There was a fairly notable phishing post on our cryptocurrency yesterday where the user mistakenly sent tokens to an address that looked very similar to his actual address. Same starting and ending characters. He originally thought he had a clipboard malware that changed his address, but it turned out he actually copied to the wrong address. If you look at his Polygon scan history days before the mistaken transaction, you can see that he was targeted multiple times. All these similar looking addresses had interacted with his account in the past 2 weeks. His address is at the top, ending in 3614C. And if you look through these other addresses, so many of them look very similar. This is known as address poisoning. Attackers send low-value token transactions and receive zero-value token transactions to and from your addresses, hoping that you accidentally pick their addresses in future transactions. Blockchain explorers and some wallets will show these transactions. Ding, 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 ding. I work for one. The recommended way to avoid getting tricked is to use an address book of whitelisted addresses. Most wallets and exchanges have an address book feature, and they've posted a comprehensive list of crypto scams. You got to go follow that link too, because that's a banger of a post, all these different scam possibilities. And I'll turn it over to the crowd here.
This would absolutely get me. When I send any transactions, it's the first 4 and the last 5 that I check.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh shit.
But I am curious where they're copying, like where these people are copying from. Because it's not like you go to your Etherscan and you like look at an old transaction and copy an address from that old transaction, right? Like another thing that could be added onto this is copy from the right places. Because when you go to like your MetaMask, you have that little copy button, and it's directly from the account that you're controlling. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's something to add. This is a crazy scam. I don't know how these attackers are also generating these addresses, because it seems hard to generate an address that's similar to an address that has funds in it, unless it's some sort of vanity address. I don't know.
That seems like a really good best practice technique to be very careful where you copy addresses from. Because I admit, like in the past, I'll be just like, well, that's OX399, that's me, I'll grab it. But we should develop those mental pathways that are like, this is best practice for copying my own address.
I'm going to speak on behalf of the company I work for, and I'll keep this very, very brief because I don't want to make this into some kind of campaign. I want all hardware manufacturers to come up with a way that people can copy addresses that are trusted and known out of Etherscan, and then make custom labels just like you can on ours. That way, if you go to sign, you would see the label you expect to see rather than the other 5 labels that this user was seeing here. And that's all I got to say about that. It is imperative. If I had to guess how they're deriving these, there could be some kind of robot spitting out seed phrases, spitting up wallets, and then what they're doing is they're just putting them in a database, and then they're trying to find the closest match they can to the target that they're going for. And they're sick.
You're kind of an expert at wallet management. What do you use?
Moving on. Go to the next.
You're supposed to say grid plus lattice one,
No,
bro.
I'm not. I'm done. I already said my little piece. We're moving on.
I just want to say
Last one.
here real quick
Wait,
that.
can I say one thing? Can I say something?
Oh, go ahead.
You know you're part of a like crypto couple when waiting for you underneath the Christmas tree is a grid plus lattice.
Stop. Okay. All right.
I just wanted to highlight the importance here. Set one less posted in that thread that we were just talking about. ENS. I mean, that will save you from this. If everybody kind of had an ENS, you wouldn't have to worry about this.
Yes. That
So
too.
highlights the importance of an ENS. Everybody was like, "Why should I have one?" There. That's exactly why you should have one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you could also drill down and, if you're dealing with a bad smart contract, you need to get all those little like call contract addresses labeled too. I mean, we got a long
Jeremiah-
ways to go to get this UI figured out for sure. And these people are freaking brilliant at scamming. If only they could turn that switch into something better.
Here's the thing: we cannot be afraid to talk about good products because that's the only way people find out.
January 10th, on a Tuesday, Doubt Stars Are Fire invites everyone to join HodlerCon Discord ahead of the planning for a 2024 meetup.
Doubt Stars writes, "We had so much fun in Hawaii. We're going to do it again. For those of you that don't know, HodlerCon 2024 is currently in the planning stages. Join our Discord to get involved. Luau Dao is submitting a presentation about our decentralized Layer 0 vacation at ETH Denver. Fingers crossed we get accepted. That being said, we had to make a pitch video for the talk, and I couldn't keep it to myself because I wanted to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy." And then there's a link here. Oh, it's 2 minutes long. Let's see. Tell me if you can hear this.
2022 was a momentous year for the merge and Ethereum's Layer 1. But there was another reason for some
No,
of us.
can't hear anything.
Can't hear it? Okay.
Can't hear it.
All right. So she put together a little video there. Doubt Stars, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited. Obviously, post Hawaii, there was still like a lot of energy around HodlerCon. And so, while we were at HodlerCon, we decided, we're going to do this again. And everyone was like, let's do it in 2023. And I was like, I can't do that. I cannot
It was a
do
lot
that.
of work.
But it was a lot of work. But we decided 2024, we're going to do it on a 2-year cadence. We're going to stick with the same sort of architecture that sort of Fizz inspired and put in place. So we will use our each fund NFTs to vote. And as you guys saw a couple months ago, we reached out and said, hey, if anybody has location submissions, send it over. And so we took those submissions, we went through them. I'm sorry, the Sahara did not make the cut. But we will be using those. We have a top 5 in each of the price bands, and we'll be using the beach bums to vote on what the number 1 is within each of the price bands. That vote is going to open up mid-February, and hopefully this talk will happen at ETH Denver, and then maybe we'll sell some more bums. The vote will be open for 6 weeks, so we'll close it sort of mid-March. And then June 15th, 2023, the price will determine the location for each of those price bands.
The current price of Ethereum.
Yeah, the current price of Ethereum will determine what the price band is. So we kind of
I
stuck
love
with
that that's still there. I love that layout persisted. It's kind of a neat recognition of like the original setup. Cool.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I like it, but I'm one of those people who the price doesn't affect because I have been drinking all the Kool-Aid and I'm not going to sell any of my ETH to go on vacation. So.
That's fair. It's fair. Yeah. But the other thing, sort of in that, when I posted that, somebody said, yeah, the point is that it's supposed to be we celebrate in the during the bull market. And the thing is also is that a lot of what HudlerCon is about community and like building community with each other. And it made me really excited to hear like Austin and Kudata are working together because like we all hung out together in HudlerCon, right? Like, and so be able to like really sort of establish that community that we have in layer 1 in layer 0 and sort of move it into the meat space, as Tiz likes to say. So it's just, I think, really important to just continue those relationships, you know, outside of just like conferences and really bring our families in. And I think that's what's also important, is because really, you know, getting to know the families. And I would have to say, like, that's kind of inspired some of the stuff that Logan and I are also like interested in talking about, which is another talk that we're going to do from Tokenomics Explained, is the crypto postmortem. So basically making sure that your assets are available for your family, you know, in the long run. So
There's
pretty excited.
The important the bulletin board thing about Luau DAO is that it's actually an LLC out of the state of Wyoming, right? So we have managed to marry the digital with the real world in the business structure of it. Your anonymity is preserved in the way that bookings take place. So if you are a lurker, this is a good conference for you, because when you book wherever we stay, you're booking directly with the establishment. We have no record of you as a person, where you're from, what your real name or data is or anything. So that is a very important like distinction about what HudlerCon represents versus literally every other conference out there that I can think of. Let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, I have a 2-second
Sure.
pump for the alternative to HudlerCon. SellerCon is actually happening at the same time in the Sahara Desert. Yeah, you can. Yeah, anyway, this is a joke. I'm done. I'm out.
I think it is important to note that, you know, it's a great signal of the strength of the community to evolve from if it was going to happen to it is going to happen. So you develop these price bands and that original format you kind of spoke on, Fizz, but just evolving from if to when, you know, really signals the connections made. Bullish.
Yeah, and one of the things too is that we have the structure in place now. Like, you know, a lot of what we struggled with when we were planning HudlerCon the first time is those things that JT talked about, like preserving anonymity and making sure that we had like the right event planners, and then getting all of the like structure of the DAO in place. And like now that we have that, it is easier to then repeat the event. We just now have to find our new location.
Prairie Dog State Park, Western Kansas. Let's go. All right, go ahead.
All right. Wednesday, January 11th. Minimal Gravitas discusses goats and staking.
Good morning, ETH fam. So I've been thinking about whether LSDs represent almost a multipolar trap. A multipolar trap is a situation where participants are incentivized to act in a way detrimental to the good of the group and to themselves in the long run. The most obvious example is the tragedy of the commons. We each share a piece of land. It can support each of us grazing 10 goats. If I graze 11 goats, the quality of the land might deteriorate, but so slowly it won't matter. Whereas I get 10% more goat, it's an obvious choice. Unfortunately, you all make the same obvious choice, and so the field is overgrazed and after a few years becomes barren and most of everyone's goats starve. If you decide to be the better person and keep to the original limit of 10 goats, then all you're doing is disadvantaging yourself relative to the rest of the 11 goat havers. We can all afford more turnips than you due to the goat inflation, and so you end up outcompeted. Getting back to ether staking, by using a centralized service rather than solo staking, you get access to an LSD. This gives you advantages in terms of opportunity access. You can swap into something else if you want, or create leveraged positions or whatever. Like with a shared field, The disadvantage is on a community level. The decentralization and legitimacy of the Ethereum network, and by extension Ether, the asset, is compromised, meaning it is less likely to be as highly valued in the future. Sure, you could take the high ground and not use a centralized service, but then you are disadvantaging yourself with lost opportunity cost. And if you do, and most people chose a centralized service, then you still lose out from the loss of perceived legitimacy anyway. Except that entire scenario is not analogous to Ethereum staking today due to another option that hopefully most of you have been hearing repeat in your heads the entire time you've been reading. Rocket Pool solves the lose-lose coordination failure by providing an option that gives people the ability to access an LSD without compromising the decentralization of the whole. With the multipolar trap easily disarmed, with it, the multipolar trap is easily disarmed. The field doesn't need to be depleted for individuals to gain the advantages. Rocket Pool is the GOAT.
I love the
One of the
farm
things that
here. This is great for like just getting normal people to understand this. And I like that farming is so regenerative by design, like it just has to be. And it translates so well to Ethereum and a lot of things. So kudos to Minimal. I always love their posts. They're always easy to read. And Minimal is a genius, and somehow they still make it simple for somebody like me to understand. So
well,
I love this.
Considering you're somebody that can eat an entire goat in a single setting, I can see why you would resonate with that.
Yeah, 2 goats, man. I could easily do 2.
All right.
One of the things that I really like about Web3 in general is like changing incentives and aligning incentives. And like, I don't think that we can approach most problems by saying you should do what's good for the long term. You have to change people's incentives and say, this is going to be good for you on the short term and the long term. So I think it's really important to support any protocols that are building in that direction that help people do the right thing.
All right, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah. Number 10, rounding us out of the week. We've got a double Doot, 2 for the price of 1. Lightfoot highlights the significance which staking withdrawals has on decentralization. Then Diego D follows it up on their zero to hero staking journey.
Thank you very much. Lightfoot, 950 plus comments, 97% in Ethfinance, Deuter 18 level. Don't underestimate the decentralizing impact Shanghai will have. Lots of people fully aligned with Ethereum's defining values like me have ETH staked with centralized exchanges where we would rather not for various reasons, who will be empowered by withdrawals to revisit their position and consider going solo. I've run validators on testnet, but don't have the skills or confidence to do it with real money right now. But Shanghai marks a big psychological target for me to remedy that. And it's very easy to be inspired by people in this subreddit, describing how Rocket Pool, DAppNode, etc. are very easy to do. Plus, ETHStaker and all their guides. It's taking on a huge financial responsibility, but it's all about integrity and aligning one's actions with one's values, and you can see that across the Ethereum community, and it is inspiring. It might take 6 months, but I'm really looking forward to watching the transition of ETH from centralized stakers to clean, green, homegrown. He says fanless, I recently learned here, so no noise and no fiddly dust hovering validators. I believe he's talking about the Intel Nooks or something similar. I named my testnet validator Raspberry Pi Goldfish because I often couldn't leave it alone more than a day without it dying. Even put a little goldfish sticker on it. I'm looking forward to carrying that BS over onto a Nook. Name suggestions welcome.
And Lightfoot
This
joins
is-
us on stage, actually.
Lightfoot, hey,
Yeah,
welcome.
that's great.
If you want to chime in on your post, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing to add really is I think this sums up what's so good about Ethfinance. In that I'm there writing something pretty basic really about withdrawals that most people have already thought of, but it's still encouraged. And then you have Diego D coming in who's a good few steps up from me technically, and he's demonstrating the exact result of that sort of community attitude of combining technical competence and friendliness. Because he went from having no technical knowledge at all to now solo validating and sort of empowering other people to do the same thing. I just think that's the most valuable thing about Ethfinance is it's not, it's sort of welcoming to people who are quite a long way from the top of the tech tree of confidence.
Yeah, it's something special. Diego D, is that in the same thread, a word, just a little bit further down the page there? It says this bring back memories.
Yeah, exactly.
Superviz, did you want to say something before I moved on?
Yeah, this is the kind of comment that I love to see regarding the maturation of Ethfinance and EthStaker. People know that we're sister communities. We're both welcoming first and knowledgeable second. And I would argue that we're even both wholesome communities. And I think that we are creating evidence that wholesomeness can win in the end. Because in a world where capitalism and profit maximalism are like the common sense approaches, we know that we can harden the chain. We can build a more robust community. We can build a more powerful network by engaging in these community-oriented, wholesome approaches. So it seems a little counterintuitive these days because you think the bad guys win, but we are doing it. We're manifesting a healthy network through cooperation and working together. And so I'm proud of both of these communities.
And Diego responds, this brings back memories. I was so systems illiterate that it took me about a week to set up my rig before even syncing the blockchains. Almost every step in the guides, I had to Google something or pester the kind people in the EastStaker Discord. I'd never used Linux before. Had to actually Google where to find the command prompt in Ubuntu, as if terminal wasn't obvious enough. Didn't know what port forwarding was. Many such examples. Once I finally felt like I knew what I was doing, I wiped the entire system and started again from scratch. Then did that a couple more times, each time getting quicker and more confident. I think by the third try, I had got it down to 30 minutes before syncing the blockchains. I ended up validating on testnet for only one day, then swapped over to mainnet. Specifically remember Fizz telling me to practice on testnet longer, but beacon chain launch was imminent. I hesitated to no withdrawal mechanism, but decided there was no way I was missing Genesis. It's been more than 2 years since then, my rig diligently staking 24/7 without any major problems. In a weird way, it's been one of those only constants in my life as life's events pass by. The TLDR, I agree, Shanghai will likely increase decentralization. If I can do it, literally anyone can and will. A focus after Shanghai should be towards making the process easier to ensure it.
That's what I love about this community, guys. You take people who, haven't even used a computer, and now they're staking Ethereum and securing a financial network. It's amazing, really amazing, and it proves what we do here is valuable, and it proves that people are learning from all of us. So I think I love posts like this because this is why I come back to ETHFi every day and goof off and try to help people. And I know the ETHStaker people, they spend hours and hours of their own time troubleshooting other people's problems. Just because it really is, I love these. They're so inspiring. If you don't know anything about computers, you can still be a part of it. You can still learn everything. This is awesome.
Good stuff. A word. Do you want to talk about this EF Research AMA series? I saw that you put it in the notes.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to give it a shout out just so people were aware of the ongoing AMA with the foundation. Really, a lot of really great, useful information. Just reading through the comments, the questions, I've learned a lot just sitting here feeding it into my text reader.
And if you ever wonder if the Ethereum core devs are ever in our subreddit, they are. This was posted by JB Schweitzer. Really good stuff. I'm glad that they're using us exactly as intended. This is what we want to do for people. I think we're going to wrap it up. We have a link that are going to go to the episode 2 happy hour. We will put that link in the Discord. Looks like there's a 9 of 50 that have already been minted. So with that, is there any last parting words before we shut down? All right. I'm going to leave it at that. We went right up to about 1 hour. Maybe we got to restructure this a little bit to 1 hour. It was good, though. I hope you guys enjoy. Tune in next Friday. We live stream every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Tell your friends, tell your wives, tell your grandmas, too. We're here to hang out, try to keep it family friendly. And we hope that you subscribe on YouTube. This is a totally free thing. We don't monetize the channel in any way. And any of that money that's thrown in on the PO apps, I guess, is just to help with, I don't know, keep the mouse in the mouse wheel. I don't know what we're going to do with that. Maybe I'll buy some sauce with it in Denver. Anything else? I think we're good. All right, until next week.
Thanks for hosting, JT.
Always.
Yeah,
Thank you, JT.
I love this community, guys. Everybody be good. Cheers.